Hello Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen and this is my fiber web where we talk about cross stitch. I also have a little bit of knitting for you today, but before we get started, I just wanted to point out, you see my gray hairs right here? They're like very curly, like corkscrew. Can you see that? Am I gonna have curly gray hair? Is that a thing? Does that happen? My hair's not curly, but these are like, look at that. Okay. I don't notice these except when I turn my camera on and then they're just like sticking out in bright white and like, hello world. So, does that happen? Can my hair change from straight to curly when it goes gray? Let me know. Okay, today is Thursday, March 12th. And it's been a couple weeks since I shared my stitching with you, so I figured I should hop on and let you know what's going on. I'm going to start with a little life update just because there are a few things on my mind and I want to get them out of my brain so I can focus on what I'm going to talk about. One, I'm going to be moving soon. So I'm not moving far. I'm going to stay in the same school district, but it looks like later this month I will be beginning at least to move. So that is exciting. I've lived in this current house since 2014, so that will be a big change, obviously, for me and the boys. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, having new spaces to design and organize. And each of the boys are going to have their own room right now. So I have 3 boys and me in this house, and it's a 3-bedroom. So my 2 younger sons share a room right now, but they won't have to anymore. So that's cool. And also, our school district canceled school tomorrow because the high school boys basketball team has had a 35-0 season and they are going to the state tournament down in Champaign, Illinois tomorrow, and the school district basically said that there were going to be so many people, staff and students, missing that they wouldn't be able to function normally, so they just canceled school for the entire district. And it's kind of funny because it was supposed to be the end of 3rd quarter tomorrow, so they've pushed the end of 3rd quarter back to Monday. And then also we have to make up this day at the end of the school year, which is in May. So they have like shifted the 8th grade dance and 8th grade promotion. My oldest son is in 8th grade. So I just think it's kind of funny that the middle school had to deal with all of this because of high school basketball. But it's, according to the email I got, this is like an historic season for the basketball team. I don't know if we've ever been undefeated before. I'm saying we, like I've never had a kid play basketball for Canelan. But anyway, the tournament is going to be televised tomorrow, so I'm going to have the game on so the boys can watch while they're home from school. They're having like watch parties at the high school and everything. But anyway, those are my life updates. We had some very warm weather here. It got up to like high 70s. It was beautiful. And then yesterday we had rain, sleet, and snow all in one day. And today it's sunny again, but it's only like 40. So we are all over the place weather-wise. And yeah, things have been weird. I'm doing my best to be in the moment when I can, and that is my intention today. So let me show you what I have been crafting. I'm going to talk about knitting real quick first because I only have 2 things to show you. Number 1, I already showed you this sock. This was my Sock Madness, which is a competition on Ravelry, speed sock knitting competition. This is my sock. I am not doing Sock Madness. So I realized the weekend leading up to the deadline for the competition that I was not going to finish both socks, but I intended to submit just this one because if you get one sock done, you can still submit it and you can be a cheerleader, meaning you're not on a competition team, but you still get all the patterns for free. But I messed up my time zones, and when I went to go take my pictures so I could submit my sock, it was already over. So I'm not doing Sock Madness. I did start the second sock, but I don't think I've worked on it since I showed it to you last, so I have like the cuff and like 2 rows done. At some point I'll knit the other one. These were designed by Cow from Mars. And what are they called? They're called the newspaper sock. I don't think you can get the pattern right now, but usually a few months after Sock Madness is over, the designers do make their patterns available on Ravelry. So if you like this, you can probably get it at some point. And the other knitting that I have to show you is Stephen West is doing a glow along this year, which is a mystery shawl knit along, but it is designed to use his glow hair yarn base. I don't know what it's called exactly, glow hair silk or glow hair. It's his mohair base. So Stephen West always does a mystery shawl in October, which is usually fingering weight yarn. And now he has added, in the last few years, he's been doing a mystery sock over the summer, and now he's doing this mystery mohair thing. And I decided to join in. So if you want to participate in this, you can buy a booklet that will give you all 3 of those mystery patterns. So if you buy it now, you will get this pattern, you will get the sock pattern in the summer, and you will get the mystery shawl in the fall. And it's basically like 3 for the price of 2, I think, because I think this pattern alone is like €7 or something, and if you buy the booklet for 3 patterns, it's like 14. Sorry, I just picked this up and I pulled the needle right out of all of these slippery mohair stitches. Does that look right? Fixed it. Okay, so if you are by chance knitting this glow hair, no, what is it called? It's called Mohair Mobile shawl. If you are knitting this and you do not want a spoiler, then don't watch this part of the video, because I'm going to show, I just finished part 1. Part 2 was just released today. I haven't started part 2 yet, so I'm going to show my part 1. This is it. So we started with an I-cord, which is this fingering weight. So this shawl uses 1 color of fingering weight yarn, but you need 2 skeins, like 200 grams. And then it uses 5 shades of mohair. So we started by casting on an I-cord with the sock yarn. And it was like 140 or 60 or something like that rows long. So you end up with like a big shoelace looking thing. And then we knit these sort of triangle, but they're looking like half circle shapes using short rows. Did we use short rows? No, we just decreased. Or did we use short rows? We used short rows. I don't know. We knit these we knit these things, and then there's an I-cord. You knit the little bumps, and then you did an I-cord and bound it all off, and then we flipped every one of these up to make them alternate. So when you knit them, they were all going the same direction, and then we switched the direction of every other one to make it this alternating, as my mom described it, rickrack looking thing. And then we picked up stitches and started doing this feather and fan thing out to the edges with the different colors of mohair. So there's some texture on here. Stephen calls this row right here, like it's like a type of bobble. But you just do, like on the right side, you do a knit yarn over knit in every other stitch, and then when you come back, you knit those 3 loops together through the back loop, and it sort of makes a bobble without having to do normal bobble things. And then yeah, it's just feather and fan and some stockinette with the mohair held by itself. So it's very like spider webby up in here. Very fuzzy. The mohair was held double in these guys, so the color's a little more saturated, and then it's held single up here. So my main color, I didn't grab the yarn. It's mostly black, but as you can see, it's got some other colors. It's got some green, and there's purple and gray, and so I kind of pulled the mohair colors from that. So they kind of go. But the thing about my main color is I only have 1 skein of it, and it's from a yarn dyer that does not dye yarn anymore. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do when I run out, because I only have the 1 and you need 2. But I think it will be fine because there's so much going on here that I don't think you'll notice. So I did take a peek at clue 2, and it looks like what we're doing next is picking up stitches on the other side of this wiggly thing and then knitting out from there. So that will be fun. I don't know when I'll get started on part 2, but maybe after this. Oh, I just pulled the needle out again. One thing about mohair silk is that it's very slippery. So if you're using metal needles like me, be careful and don't do what I just did again. I should put, I don't usually use the little things that you stick on the end of your needle. I don't usually use those, but for mohair, maybe I should. Okay. The rest is going to be cross-stitch content. That is all the knitting that I have done. I haven't done any crochet. I did not work on my hexagon blanket. So, let's talk about what I did work on. I think I told you last time that I was going to do the Survivor Stitchy game with making things with string, and I sort of did. So I watched the first episode of Survivor Season 50, and there was a lot going on, and I have not watched Survivor in a very long time, so I was trying to figure out which things, according to the rules from making things with string, which are just suggested rules. Like, I was trying to figure out which things actually needed stitches and which didn't, because there was a lot going on. It was a 3-hour episode. But I figured it all out and gave myself stitch totals for each of my 3 projects, and then I only ended up working on one of them. So I worked on Beezy Spring, and based on my calculations from what happened in the show, I needed 400 stitches on this, and I did do that. So if I have a before picture, I will put it in. But here's how far I got on Beezy Spring. This is on 40 count Ancient by Picture This Plus, which is the called for fabric. And I worked on these 2 stems were started, but I had to add some leaves, and then this whole, like, this is the center of one of these sunflowers, so that is new, and then this one is new as well, because I wanted to make sure I could get up to the top, and I like to color complete, so I can get the green done. I just have to do the one more stem that's on this side, and the green will be done, and then I can get into the flowers. So I really enjoyed working on this, and then I did not work on the other 2 projects, which needed more stitches than this. For the Survivor Stitchy game, I just didn't work on them. And then I did watch Survivor episode 2 last week, and I did 0 stitching for that. So I have, like, on my phone in my notes app, I'm keeping track of which teams need stitches. I'm just not actually doing it. So that's one way to play the game. And there was a new episode on yesterday, I assume. I haven't watched it yet. So we'll see if I get back on track with this, if I keep trying, or I might just try to finish this and then pick one of the other tribes projects that I chose and work on that next. I picked 3 cottage garden samplings projects, so whatever. That's how far I got. I love this. I want to finish this year, so it would be nice if I could just maybe stick with it and get the flowers done. I know it's a lot of stitching. Okay, that was a lot of words. Next, I have a finish. I don't remember when I did this. I don't know if these are in order, but I got out my basket of cherries from Blackbird Designs, and I finished it. So this one is on a mystery linen. I think it's like a 36 count. So I did it with 1 strand, and I just happened to have all the called for colors in stash, so I used them, and you can see that my called for colors look a little bit different because I don't know, how many years there were between the pattern being released and me actually stitching it. This is an older one. Does it say on here? 2015, and I would have bought these threads within the last like 3 or 4 years, so I'm sure the dye lots are different. But I love this. It's very cute. Happy with how it turned out. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. There are some specialty stitches in the basket down here. And those are fun to make. Were there other ones? Oh, there's satin stitch too in the center of some of these berries. Yeah, that's a finish. I have another finish. So March 2nd was my birthday, and I had shared that I was going to pick one of these like pick one square from one of these patterns and just try to stitch it and finish it on my birthday, and I'll just do that every year. That way I don't have a big giant birthday start that I have to try to remember to work on all year and fail. So I chose to do the daffodils right here, and here they are. So I did it on this is 14 count fiddler's cloth Ada, and I used the 3 called for DMC shades, and I did put the year in here. So my plan is to make pillows, and I will put the year in each time I do it, and I'll have a bunch of little birthday pillows. This was very fun and relaxing to stitch, very satisfying. More of you than I expected joined me on my birthday, so thank you for that. That was very fun to see people working on this or other prairie schoolers or other just flowery things on my birthday. So thank you for helping my birthday be special. I do have a big piece of this, so I should be able to put plenty of birthdays on here and give myself just enough border so that I can sew a little pillow. Not border, margin, you know what I mean. So that is I'm counting that as a finish instead of a whip for my numbers. So next year on my birthday it will be a new start and a new finish. That's my plan, in case you were wondering. And then also we had a full moon March 3rd, and so I got out my full moon stitch, which I do with my full moon homies, and we're all doing Kathy Barrick moons. I chose this 12 of the clock pattern, and this month I got the border done. So I worked on the pink, I think, and also the very dark blue in the border, because the 2 brown shades were already done. So the whole border is complete now. I love this border because it is not, it has a lot of variation, both in like the size of the motif and where the colors are placed, so it keeps it interesting. And then I started a little bit of the house, but it was just because I had that thread on my needle and I didn't want to get rid of it, so I just finished up the thread I had. So I've said before, this house has a bunch of over 1 stitching, and so does the sun. So this is not a very big project, but I don't know how long any of that's going to take me, so I'm sort of expecting that I will have this done before the end of the year and just start another full moon project, but we'll see what happens. And this is on a mystery linen that I think is 28 count, so I'm using 2 strands of the called for DMC shades. Okay, and then I have another finish. So this was a whip that I started, I don't know when now, a while ago, and I don't know why I didn't get it done sooner because it's not very big. This is a pattern by Cross Stitched and Painless Crafts, I think, on Etsy. It's called Community is Resistance, and I finished this up. This took me, even once I got it out, it took me longer than I expected. I thought it would take me like 2 days, and I think it took me 4 or 5 to get this done because it's easy stitching, and it's like blocks of color, but this fabric is terrible. It is an opalescent even weave. I think it might be too sunny to see the sparkle in it. Oh, you can kind of see it maybe if I do that. But the weave is so tight. It was so hard to get the needle through. So typically if I'm stitching with 2 strands on 28 or 32 or whatever this is, I would stitch it in hand and it would be easy peasy and I would zoom through it. But it was so hard to get the needle through this thread that I had to put it in a hoop and put it on the stand. And even then, like, you know when you pull the needle through, it's like, it was like that. And I kind of hated it. So I have this whole, if you want this, let me know. I'm going to cut this and I'm not going to stitch on this again. So if you want a piece of, an oddly shaped piece of opalescent white, whatever this is, hit me up and I will send it to you. Because, yeah, I'm never stitching on this again. But I'm happy with the finish. And I would like to make something out of this and put it like in the background of my videos. That designer has a few other charts that are also really good. There's one with the Very Hungry Caterpillar that says Eat the Rich that I also purchased but I haven't stitched yet. I think Julie from Julie and Stitches 16 already stitched that one. She has like basically like a spot sampler where she's putting a bunch of her like more political activist sort of smalls together on one big piece, which is a genius idea. I think she put that one on there already. So after I got done with that, I wanted to stitch on something that was like the exact opposite experience. So I got out a project that I am doing with silk on a nice mystery even weave that I think is 32 count, that is soft and easy. The needle glides right through it. And that is Put a Bird on It by Modern Folk Embroidery. So I started this last year with the intention of finishing it last year during the stitch along that was hosted by the Sunshine Stitchers, I think. So they broke this up into 12 parts and finished it by the end of the year, and I obviously didn't, but I got it out and I worked on this thing. This thing's new. Everything else was already in there. So I chose just colors from silks that I had in stash. And I don't know if you can tell, but for this giant motif, it's actually 2 different shades because I realized halfway through that I was not going to have enough of the darker sort of burgundy color. I would have run out, so I used a slightly lighter shade, and then I did the same thing up here. It uses both colors because I do want to use up that first shade. And yeah, I don't know who the dyer is for this fabric or what the color is because it was in like a mystery fabric lot that I got on eBay at some point. But this is very nice to stitch on, and I have a couple different types of silks. So some of them I'm using 2 strands and some of them I'm using 1 because the floss is thicker. And I don't remember which is which, but if you're curious about the specifics, I can share them with you if you would like to know. So there's that. And that is everything that I have stitched on. I did have some stitchy kindness around my birthday, which was very nice. I got a package from my friend Megan of Books in the Moon. And I'm not going to show you the inside of the card, but she sent me this card and said she said make sure you don't forget to look at the back, and it's got like a horse's ass, which I thought was funny. So she sent me some, let me make sure this is right. Yeah, it's Forbidden Fiber Co. floss. It's still in the bag that she gave to me, so she said she thought these colors would be good for owls, and I think she's right. So that was very kind. These are one-of-a-kind colors, so I don't think they have names. And then she found a couple vintage cross-stitch books. She likes to save the vintage stuff, and thought that I would like these 2 in particular. This one has a pretty owl sampler that she said she thought I might like to stitch, and I think she's right. So I might like switch up the colors, but that's pretty cute. So thank you. That was very kind, Megan. And then also I got a gift card from a viewer to 123 Stitch. And so she said that she knew I had some market picks in mind, and I went on to 123 Stitch and I put some of the market picks that I had in mind into my cart, and then I went and checked, and every single one that I liked is from a designer who will release them as PDFs eventually. So I took them back out of my cart and I'm going to wait for the PDFs. And I decided to get some fabric because I used to be in the Bestitch Me Fabric of the Month, and I would like jump around what type of fabric I got. So I was getting like 18 count Aida for a while, and then I was getting 40 count linen, and I think I got 32 count linen, but I stopped that a while ago, and I haven't really been buying a whole bunch of craft stuff, so there were some gaps in my fabric stash, so I decided to just get some fabric. So I will show you what I got. These are all fat quarters, I think. So I got 32 count murky linen. I got more of the 14 count. This is Rustico, but it's like kind of the same as Fiddler's Cloth. Just because I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough for my birthday pillows, so I figured I should just get more because I would just like to have this in my stash at all times because I love it. And then I picked a few darker fabrics. Well, first let me show you this. This is just 20 count white Aida from Zweigart. I don't remember. Oh, I think I got this because I want to restart the Jan Hicks chart Carnival on this. I had started mine on 28 count and I was going to do it 1/1, and then I think I stitched on it for one day and never wanted to pick it up again. So I'm going to restart it on 20 count. So that's why I got that one. And then I picked a few dark colored fabrics because I want to restart Witch's Garden Crafts. Did a stitch along called Moon Garden, I think. And the fabric that I chose initially was too light and like there wasn't enough contrast. So the one I think I'm going to use is this, which is Phantom. I got a 14 count Aida. I picture this plus. So this is the one that's like the closest to the color that she dyed for, like in her shop, in the Witch's Garden Crafts shop for it. It's very dark and purpley blue. The light is like washing it out, but this will be perfect. And then I also got 14 count Woodland Aida by Picture This Plus, which is a dark green, but I'm not sure if this is going to be dark enough, so I think I'm going to go with the blue. Oh, that's good. You can see how much darker this really is. And then I also got a dark gray, which I also don't think this would have the same problem as my initial start, which is that like all the little bricks would fade in. So I'm going to use the dark blue. And I will find other projects for the green and the gray later on. So thank you very much for that gift card. That was beyond generous and I really appreciate it. And that, I believe, is everything that I have for you today. So I just checked the time and this video is a little bit shorter than my last few have been, even though I did have 3 finishes to share. So I have been really focused on this mohair shawl lately, and I have not been stitching a whole lot in the last few days. And like I said, I'm going to be moving, so I haven't, it's not 100% solid yet, but I should get possession of the new place, I think March 24th, and then the following week is spring break for my kids, so they will be with their dad for like 5 days in a row. So my plan is to try to move a bunch of stuff in during that time. And since my older boys are 13 and 10, I do want them to be able to decide what they want their new rooms to look like. So I'm going to take them over and show them and like ask them if there's stuff they want me to do or if they want to wait and do it themselves after, like at the second half of spring break when they're with me, so they can decorate their own rooms. But they're boys, so I don't know how much they want to decorate their own rooms. So we'll see. But anyway, I don't know how much stitching and knitting I'm going to be able to do, since I do need to start like packing things and all of that. But hopefully I'll be back in the next couple weeks, maybe from a new location with a new video to share what I'm up to. I hope that you are taking good care of yourself and that you are doing well. And thank you as ever for watching and commenting and liking if you feel like it. And yeah, I hope to see you again next time. Take care.